Okay, we're live. Hi, welcome to the Zenwave channel, and this is the Zenwave's live stream. Yeah, so this is a weekly thing where we go through some of the news about sustainability from Japan, and I'll be going through the this week's news. Probably not all of them, but pick the interesting ones, and we'll read the news, and perhaps share some insights behind the scenes. Now, the usual plan after that will be usually to go freestyle. But today, I want to spend a little bit of time discussing about circular economy and what Zenways really want to do in the future. Yeah, but we'll get to that. Yeah, we don't want to rush it, so let's see what happens. I'm your host. I'm Roger from Zenbird Media. I'm the editor-in-chief. Now, Zenbird Media is an online magazine that shares sustainability from around the world. From Japan to around the world. So we're talking about sustainable fashion, sustainable food, art, design, business, the economy, the apps, the food. Might mention food anyway. Anyway, yes, the whole 9 yards. What Japan is doing in terms of environment and for society. So if you're interested in sustainability news from Japan, please consider subscribing to our channel. We are also on Instagram, Facebook and Twitter. Those are, if you are on those platforms. And this is our second stream. Yeah, it's gonna be awkward. It's gonna be weirdly paced. And because I'm rather new to this. I mean, I streamed before, but I've never done new streams before. So this is something new that Zenbird is trying to do. Well, it's fun. It's relaxing. Especially with the background music that I've chosen, acoustic guitar. But anyway, I guarantee the content will be educational, right? So, okay, I think I gotta get this started. Give me a moment. And switch this, smaller, okay. I wanna make sure the climate clock is ticking. Shut this up. Yep, it's counting down properly. Alright, okay. Okay, let's start. So the first the first article we have on for today is actually a vegan news, right? Now, Righteous Burger is the brand. So Righteous Burger launches meal order vegan burger kit in Japan. Now, as veganism has become a recent trend among consumers in Japan, more restaurants and grocers have started to sell vegan food, especially in the last 2 pandemic years. However, easy access to prepared or Western-style vegan food is still not widely available for various reasons. Even in big cities like Tokyo, some are still finding quality vegan burgers depending on their neighborhood. Now, in big cities like Tokyo and maybe Osaka, I will include Fukuoka. I'm not too sure about Sapporo. Usually you can find vegan food, or at least a vegan choice, or at the least plant-based. But there are a lot of cities that do not have that option. You don't have a fully vegan place, or you don't have a vegan cafe or vegan restaurant. They will say maybe, okay, we'll just remove the meat, is that fine? So in some sense, veganism still hasn't come to Japan, but there are a lot of people doing their best to promote it. Now, give me a moment. The cropping is really weird. Let me fix this. You can see the whole screen. This is very strange. Come now. Yeah, that's better. Hold on. Yeah, it's this bigger, can't I? Okay, I'm gonna do a bit more adjusting along during the stream. Bear with us while This setup is quite not new. And sometimes it's inconsistent because of the software we use, but let's see what happens. Anyway, let's continue with the news. Simply assemble a hearty vegan burger at home. As one of Tokyo's ghost kitchens, Raja's Burger serves an all-vegan menu featuring its hearty 100% plant-based burgers. They opened their business in September 2021, specializing in delivery and pickup through Uber Eats in the Roppongi area. Last month, Righteous Burger started shipping vegan burger kits anywhere in Japan. Now, ghost kitchens is like, you can't really say it's a virtual kitchen, but they have a place where they cook the food. It can be like a rented kitchen, or it might be even your own home. So in a way, it's a ghost kitchen. They don't have a so-called official physical place where you can eat, but they still deliver the food, which is perfect for delivery services. Continuing, DIY Righteous Burger Kit comes with burger patties, buns, sauce, and pickles for each 2 or 4 burger sets. Not only their burger patties mix of beans, vegetable, oats, and spices are vegan, but the cheese for the cheeseburger sets, buns, and original sauce are also vegan. The cooking directions are as simple as warm the patty on a pan and add fresh vegetables as you like. So as you can see, they try to make things really easy. But of course, yeah, you might say, plastic? Well, I think first thing first, they are promoting vegans, so I think that could be their next step. And of course, as you can see, I think they focus on easy preparation, little fuss. As long as it's convenient, I think it's a service that people would like to try, don't mind trying. Making delicious vegan food more accessible. Oneness Good, the owner company of Righteous Burger, originally started the shop due to the increasing demand for delivery services and healthy, sustainable meals among customers due to the effects of the COVID-19 pandemic. However, many did not have the chance to try their food, even if they wanted to, because they didn't live near the delivery zone. To serve more customers in wider areas, Righteous Burger started to ship burger kits utilizing Shopify and online store. So what this means is they're not just serving Tokyo anymore, but the whole of Japan, for anyone who's interested. Traveling overseas as a former musician, Righteous Burger's manager experienced vegan food as delicious and common meals in many other countries. Inspired by this experience, he strives to serve vegan food for Japanese people to enjoy in their daily lives, whether for environmental, health, or religious reasons, increasing the ease and convenience of practicing veganism is important so that more people will consider the idea and have fun by doing good. From a perspective of reducing the effects of global warming, replacing red meat and dairy with vegetables just for one day or week can help significantly. It can cut an individual's annual emissions by the equivalent of 1,870 kilometers car trip, approximately 24 hours drive. Check out the details of the DIY Righteous Burger Kit here. The link will be in the description, so you can find this article and the link if you're interested. Now, very often, how to say, the thing about delivery, one of the concerns that delivery is actually bringing about is, someone has to deliver from the source to you. So what about car emissions? And that really matters. Well, personally, I think it's okay. Why? Because especially in terms of veganism, if we want to, you see the climate clock right there. If we want to increase the carbon budget, if we want to increase the time we have left, we have to cut methane. Methane is the easiest way we can increase the time over there, buy us more time, decrease the amount of carbon dioxide equivalents in the air. We have to cut down meat, and it'll be I believe the benefits will be a lot more than the drive from the shop to you. Yeah, I think let's move on to the next one. Let's move to the next article. So we're going to alright. So there are two cosmetic articles this week. I was thinking, should I remove one and we just do 3 articles? But when I think about it, one article is really talking about zero waste, the concept of zero waste. The other article is talking about business models, and in essential the moral of the stories are going to be different. So I decided to include these two. Anyway, let's move to the first one, which is 3 sustainable non-toxic nail polish brands from Japan. Recently, there has been people interested in sustainable nail polishes. Okay, moving to the article. Many people enjoy doing nails for fashion. Nail polish is an easy way to dress up your style, depending on your outfit and mood. In reality, the majority of nail polishes contain toxic substances that can harm your health and the environment. Recently, sustainable nail polish has become on trend in Japan with the release of biodegradable, ethical nail tips in 2020. Here are some ethical, cruelty-free nail polish brands from Japan. Oh, just have a little look at the sustainable nail tips. Usually nail tips are made by plastic, so yeah, they are tiny plastic, so it is a concern. One of those outside out of mind. If you really don't do something, it becomes a problem. So yeah, this is roughly how it looks like, if I can show. Yeah, it just looks as normal, but they are, how you say, each tip is made from 100% natural biomass resin that is biodegradable. So that's a good addition to that. Okay, I'll put this link in the. I'll add this link to the description after the stream. Let's carry on. So we are gonna introduce three brands here, and first is Zumo, features sustainable natural ingredients. That's how it looks. It has this Instagram. Zumo is inspired by Mother Nature and the traditions of Izumo City in Shimane Prefecture. It values sustainability and local ingredients. As it also features ingredients safe for users, the main ingredient is water and contains no solvent. The brand promotes vegan nail polish that does not use animal-derived products. You can remove the nail polish with warm water by soaking the nails for a few minutes and peeling them off. Zumo mainly offers neutral color polishes, which are appropriate for the office environment. Next one, Osaji. Osaji gently paints and cares for your nails. So it looks. Oh, not this. The nail polishes. Osaji is well known for its gentle skincare products. Actually, if you really think about it, Japanese products are mainly gentle on skincare products. One of the reasons is because they many of them use natural ingredients, and that is one of the edges that Japanese cosmetics, Japanese beauty products have. Continuing, the founder has researched the biology of human skin and carefully selected ingredients that are safe and gentle on the skin. Moreover, Osaji commits to designing the original containers that reflect tradition but are easy to use, and based on its philosophy that skin condition is closely related to mental state. Their nail polish is also highly rated for its ease of use. Classic nail polish can cause pain or pressure on your nails, but Osaji's products do not. Its nail polishes contain dew oil, which enhances the moisturizing function of nails and keep them from drying out. Osaji has over 40 color options, focusing on traditional Japanese hues. Therefore, you are most likely to find your favorites in the selection. And for our last but not least, we have Ueba Eso, Japan's one-of-a-kind cosmetic brand. This is how it looks. You can tell it's Ueba is Eso has a very unique I say, once you look at it, you know it's from them. First is the tall cap, it has this, how do you say, slanted slides to it, and it is sort of like a chestnut design, and the colors are really beautiful. Ueba Eso started as a paint shop over 260 years ago in Japan. He got this idea from a traditional white Japanese painting pigment made from scallop shells and eventually launched a cosmetic brand. The company started producing non-toxic nail polish with scallop shell fine powder. The nail polish, Gofun, contains no organic solvent, which means it is gentle on the skin and there are no pungent smells that most classic nail polishes have. It dries in only a few minutes and can be easily removed with rubbing alcohol. The greatest feature is its colors. Gofun nail polish offers traditional Japanese tones and keeps releasing new colors which suit the nails. If you are looking to enjoy different nail colors matching your outfits every day, Gofun nail is the best option. Sustainable beauty products such as these are a great way to step forward in sustainability for those who enjoy fashion and practice ethical consumption. Our consumption is closely related to production. Even if this looks like a small change, it can hugely affect businesses by showing our care for the environment with what we choose. Go green movements in the beauty field are still developing, but your support can help them grow. It's not, before sustainability, even got popular in Japan, there are people who were already worried about how beauty products are affecting the environment. And it's a good thing that, it's picking up as trend. It's great. Sorry, for some reason the computer is lagging. Come on. What's up? Computer freeze. Yeah, happens from time to time. There we are. This is the first time I'm actually streaming with such a minimal setup. I'm surprised my computer can still handle it. Excuse me. Alright. Yeah, let's go to the next article. INAHO Sake Lees, sustainable cosmetics for both the earth and skin. Oh wow. Excuse me. So yeah, last month, ULLC released two cosmetic products, INAHO Lees Lotion and INAHO Lees Serum, which are made using discarded sake leaves. Now, sake is a Japanese wine, in case you're wondering. And this is how it looks like. ULLC is a company that specializes in developing products using sake leaves. These are dregs after squeezing sake, and about 1/3 of sake leaves are left over during the sake manufacturing process. The idea of turning these sake leaves into cosmetics came when the company, got inspired to turn sake leaves into cosmetics after revisiting the history of sake. In the olden days, Japan had always had a sustainable culture. People used everything up and rarely left anything behind. Sake leaves were no exception as people ate them or made preserved foods out of them. But now many of these were getting discarded. You developed these cosmetics with the hope to make full use of leaves to minimize their impact on the environment. Now it's true in the olden days, because resources were finite, the Japanese knew that resources were finite, so they tried to maximize the use of every part of organic matter. And yeah, one of the that's how the spirit Mottainai actually comes about. Mottainai actually means that a dislike to waste, and in fact during those days the concept of waste wasn't around. There's no such thing. They didn't have a word for garbage, and yeah, of course, well, today it's more about efficiency than preventing waste. But now this company is tracing back to their roots, trying to do something with the sake leaves. You first picked a suitable brewery where they could obtain leftover leaves. Yoshida Sake Brewery in Ishikawa Prefecture, interested in sustainable sake brewing, quickly joined you in collaboration. They use Kanazawa yeast to brew sake, which is free from additives. Moreover, they prepare it using 100 years old water from Mount Haku. After brewing sake with such care and effort, leaves that remain are beneficial for the skin. This is how the sake leaves look like. You then search for a manufacturer that could produce cosmetics with these natural ingredients. They found a manufacturer that uses a closed elementary school on the Otsumi Peninsula in Kagoshima Prefecture as a factory. So I believe I saw this place is on the east half of Kagoshima. There, the manufacturer extracted leaves essence, which contains a lot of beauty and moisturizing qualities, through natural ingredients only. Furthermore, other natural ingredients such as white fungus extract and cypress extract are also used for cosmetics. No artificial additives, fragrances, preservatives, or ethanol are used in the process. Even the packaging is kind to the environment. You wanted to refrain from creating garbage with plastic, so they decided to use glass containers for their cosmetics. However, they still needed to make a vanity case to protect the glass container. So instead of wood, they approached the Gojo paper manufacturing to create a packaging from sugarcane drag. The paper is certified environmentally friendly and is free of organic chlorine components, often used for bleaching, which leads to water pollution. So the whole package, not just package, the bottle, the ingredients are either biodegradable, good for environment, minimal impact on the environment, and eventually in a circular economy, it can contribute to either we reuse the material or contribute to regeneration of nature. The more you use INAHO Lees lotion and INAHO Lees serum, the more you can contribute to reducing leaves and sugarcane waste. You aspire to create more cosmetics made outdoors and gentle to the earth and skin by creating a system that gives back to nature. In the future, the company hopes to develop more environmentally friendly products like milky lotion and bath bombs using leaves and waste. let's continue. So this one came this morning. Oh, sorry. Let me talk a little bit about this. So we know that INAHO has this multi-night spirit behind it. So they don't want to, Sake Lees were gonna be thrown away. So they try to find a way to actually use it. Usually in olden days, they will use it for maybe like food and of course for cosmetics. Whereas when we look at this, the three nail polishes, this story is really about, when you look at all three, they are brands that you don't usually see getting headline. These are small companies, and that's where it's so important. Small companies are already making the switch towards sustainability. Whereas, for example, big brands like Shiseido, 2 years ago they say, "Oh, we're gonna make sure our bottles are gonna be sustainable." But that's probably it. Their system, their company is so big, their system is so big, their supply chain is so big. It's very hard for them to make changes. Whereas small companies like others, like Adizumo and Osagi, they are able to make that switch. Or they had to start, which is right, as we can also see from Ueba Eso. So it's behind the scenes, there are two different stories that we can learn from. Yeah, let's go for the anchor market now. Anchor market gathering for mothers and children in Fukuyama. Sustainable Hotel Anchor Hotel Fukuyama, which is in Hiroshima, will soon reopen its anchor market this coming April, an enjoyable market to connect people through all things Hiroshima and Fukuyama. More than just a simple market, Anchor Market's main crowd is mothers with small children who are doing their best to raise them during the coronavirus pandemic. Now the event is in April, but they are now gathering inviting shop owners. They have a list ready, and it's most likely, and they might invite more. Who knows? Childbearing is a challenge in itself, and COVID adds layers of difficulty while mothers have less conventional support. Some even go through postpartum depression. The market will be a welcome breath of fresh air for mothers and their children. Workshops and hands-on experience such as ceramic art that even preschoolers can enjoy will be available at the market. There will also be Rosette making Rosette. Oh dear, I just realized I don't remember how to pronounce. I'm drawing a blank now. Anyway, Rosette making popular with pregnant women and moms with small children, commemorative photo taking with seasonal spring touch, and workshops to create colorful decorations to brighten the home. The organizers wish that the workshops and store owners will bring a smile to everyone. On top of that, Anchor Market plans to bring in more food and beverage owners to set up a store than before. The theme of Anchor Hotel Fukuyama is travel, and the organizers want to pair it up with good food. It also boasts owners who have been affected by the pandemic. The last time Anchor Hotel Fukuyama organized the event was last March, but had to halt in the face of COVID concerns. Let me do some taking. Right. So continuing, the last time Anchor Hotel Fukuyama organized the event. So this coming on will be their sixth. They have done it 5 times already. But the last time they organized the event was last March, but had to halt in the face of COVID concerns. In the spirit of being an event that the city looks forward to, he has decided to organize the next one for this coming April. Details shown here. Well, although Fukuyama city is within Hiroshima prefecture, it is not far from Okayama, so residents can consider making the day trip. little info on Anchor Hotel Fukuyama. The Anchor Hotel Fukuyama is a sustainable hotel accommodation that opened in late 2018. It focuses heavily on local collaborations. You will find many aspects of the hotel designed and made by local artisans and professionals, including denim maker Yoshikawa Orimono for roomwear and yukata, cafe ingredients from local farms, and furniture from traditional artisans. That's it. We have covered today's news. It's not long articles, so yeah, we got through it really fast today. Now, I actually went to Fukuyama. I didn't stay at this hotel, but I managed to eat the hot dogs, which was really great. Unfortunately, it's not vegan, but anyway. When we talk about Hiroshima and Okayama, in between them, denim is a very popular local produce, and the reason why I went there was together with together with Circular Economy Hub to find out what kind of progress is being made in Fukuyama, in Hiroshima, in Okayama on sustainable denim. Now, if we look at the history of Japanese denim in Japan, they are pretty sustainable. For example, the dyes they use are indigo dyes, which are plant-based. So there's very limited amount of impact by using those dyes. But in other sense, because they didn't start with it started, let's say, after the Meiji Restoration, and that was when making things, the value of making things, which doesn't really prioritize environment that much. So Japanese denim still offends by using a lot of water, and now we have to look at energy, and that's why sustainable textiles is something that Hiroshima and Okayama is looking at. Now, we visited one of the factories. That one of the main problems is still textile waste. When they cut cloth, and in a certain way, it's pretty hard for them to use the cloth that was cut away. And it's something that there are budding entrepreneurs trying to solve that, and hopefully within the next few years, we will have a solution to how to make Japanese denim sustainable. Yeah. Okay. So, yes. So yeah, I wanted to think about. I want to use this opportunity to actually think about circular economy. From here on, Zenbird really wants to circular economy in Japan. Zenbird, including Zen Waves, which is our YouTube channel, we really want to promote circular economy. And to start off, now, what is circular economy? Now, if you are not in business, you don't run a business, and you are not a staff of the government, you're going to be wondering, what is circular economy? It has nothing to do with me as a consumer, but yeah, it has something to do with you because you buy things, you're part of the economy itself. But yeah, that's the problem. Circular economy is not such an intuitive concept that everyone can get easily. Basically, if we want to talk about circular economy, we need to talk about linear economy. So if you have to remember, just remember, there's one linear economy, there's one circular economy. Linear economy is what we are using now, and what it means is it's just one line. So your start point is end point, and the starting point is we take from nature. We make a lot of things, and then we throw them away. So take, make, waste. That's the line, the linear economy. And what's the problem with that? We keep taking from nature. That's bad. We keep making too much. That's bad. And we are creating a lot of waste. Bad. That's triple damage to environment, to social lives. After that we realized, okay, we need to introduce 3R. Sure, all of us have heard of 3R. So there's recycle, reduce, and reuse. But the problem is we focus too much on recycle. Can you imagine 10 years ago how many people were talking about reduce? How many people were talking about reduce? Probably only activists, environmental activists, and the government's like, hey, recycling is fine, we're doing fine. No, we are not doing fine. So at the end of the day, the current economies cannot work. It's bad because we can't keep taking, making, and wasting. So what circular economy suggests is, okay, we stop taking anything. No, zero, not even a little bit. Okay, maybe solar power, maybe the wind movement for wind power. That's it. And then we continue to make stuff. It's fine, but we produce no waste. Any waste we produce, we break it down into materials and we reuse it. So you can see we are cutting off the two ends, and the middle part of making becomes make, reuse, 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 and that is where the circle comes in. That's the most simplified way I can explain the circular economy. Of course, it's a lot deeper than that. That is a lot nuanced. There's a lot of problems with explaining things like that. But the point is, that's all you need to know, and is that we want to keep the materials we use, whether it's organic or inorganic. For example, precious metals in our smartphones, we don't throw them away. We put it back into the manufacturing line and let them use the metals again, because they can be used again. And why is it important? What Zenbird really starting to focus this year, at the start of this year, is climate change. Climate change is the biggest crisis that we have right now. Well, that's why there is a reason why it's called climate crisis. There is a reason why it's called climate emergency. But even let's say from tomorrow onwards, all of us just stop using dirty energy. Let's say from tomorrow onwards, everything is renewable energy, wind, nuclear, solar, what have you, hydrogen. I'm still on the fence about that. But we stop using fossil fuels, we will only have cut about 55% of greenhouse gases. 55%, not everything. What happens to where is the remaining 45% coming from? Well, the remaining 45% of greenhouse gases are coming from the products and services we use. What's that? What does that mean? So for example, okay, I'm drawing a blank. What examples can I draw? For example, food waste. Right, food waste. Sure, you will need and use energy to cook them. That's fine. And while you cook them, okay, maybe it produces some greenhouse gases. Let's say you don't finish the food, and now we have a huge food waste problem in the world, don't we? And I believe we are producing enough food in the world, so hunger should not exist in the world. But there's still remaining hunger, so there's a problem with our food systems. Anyway, when food waste ends up, for example, in the landfill, they decompose. They decompose into methane. Now, methane is a greenhouse gas that's worse than carbon dioxide. It is 28% worse than carbon dioxide. Now, I only remember that number because we just released a video on it. If you ask me next month, I probably don't remember it. Anyway, so methane is a greenhouse gas, and that is where it comes from. Wherever we, again, back to the make waste concepts, at some point, without using energy, we will have produced greenhouse gases, be it carbon dioxide, be it methane. It can be, I think, HFC. We've banned CFC, which caused the ozone layer, which is another whole lot of long story. We have sulfur oxide, we have nitrogen oxide variants, and all this are a lot worse than carbon dioxide. So circular economy actually really helps us solve two things. One, to stop producing waste. Waste is an error, which really is the concept. Wow, it's kind of amazing when you think about waste is actually an error. We're so used to garbage. How should we recycle our garbage when it shouldn't really exist at all? Circular economy actually looks at it. Hey, there's something wrong with that. Zero waste is not a movement, but it should be the norm. And that is why so many people are talking about zero waste. It's not just because it's cool, not just because everyone's doing it, but it is the realization that the way we make waste is wrong. The linear economy is wrong. There's something wrong with it, and this is the perfect time to look at it and time to change. The other reason why circular economy is so important, it helps us solve the climate crisis. Sure, we can stop all the fossil fuels, but we still need to figure out how are we gonna work our food systems. How are we gonna make sure the things we produce are not gonna harm the environment, and it's going back into the economy so that we can reuse the materials. That's all and good, but what does it have to do with Japan? Well, circular economy is a rather new concept. If I'm not wrong in my historical understanding, circular economy was a word that first appeared in China. But when you reached Europe, found it such a it understood as a solution. And why right now we have the European countries who are so in the forefront of creating change, especially in terms of changing their economy. It's because of they are much more developed in circular economy. And a lot of Japanese think that circular economy is a new made up word from Europe, and we have to treat them as role models. Yes, indeed, we should treat them as role models. They are doing great work, especially the governments are so supportive. For example, in Italy, I think it was last week, I think it was this week, they actually made protecting nature, protecting the environment as part of their constitution. Anything you do anything against climate change that's bad for climate change, you are doing something illegal. And that is kind of an example that maybe Japan may want to look at and adopt. But the thing is, if we look at 1,000 years ago, Japan actually had its own form of circular economy. And people who study circular economy in Japan, like us, and other Japanese media, Japanese organization, they are starting to pay attention to circular economy. The Edo period, which is about 400 years ago, right? It perfected their own circular economy model. So Japan had its own unique circular economy, but we lost that. Arguably after it opened its borders, bad influence, Western influence. Sorry, not bad influence, Western influence came into Japan, and things changed. They started to stray away from that circular economy to a capitalist economy. And I think I need to explain the Edo period. So during the Edo period, the country was actually closed after the great, the civil war within the tribes of samurai tribes. It came to a point where Japan was finally united, and what they did was they closed off the country. So there were no foreign influences. There was a bit which is that in Nagasaki in Kyushu, South Japan, they had a little small island where foreigners can stop their ship, hang out there, but they can't really get into Japan to spread their culture. So Japan, being a closed country, wasn't able to import any resources. So they really needed to do what they can, make do with what they have in Japan. And I think they experimented, and finally they created this circular system where they maximize the use of all materials that's available in Japan, and they make sure the resources retained stayed were available for a very long time, so that they can use it when they need to. That's bringing a point of how Japanese society was resilient back then, even though it was faced with a lot of natural disasters. So within this close border, a closed country, they were able to create a circular economy. They were able to perfect the circular economic system, and we call it the circular Edonomy, which is a play on the word on Edo period, which is the period where the country was at peace and was closed off to the world. Now, circular Edonomy it's not a Zenbird's word. It was coined by the founder of Course Kyoto, which of course studies. Course Kyoto works with a lot of artisans, traditional artisans in Japan. For example, carpentry or pottery, and the founder really knows about the ancient Japan, including circular economy, and he coined it. I remember I was 2 years ago when I first met him. He was just sitting behind me. Now, what are you doing? Oh, I'm writing something about circular economy. What was it? Yeah, later he presented, and this is the answer to all our problems, isn't it? Of course, it's a bit, we were a bit naive. We needed to develop the idea a little bit more. But Zenbird has been around for about 3 years, and for the 3 years we have been, let's say, working hard to study. What can Japan teach? What does Japan have that the world would like to know? Now, I'm not trying to be nationalistic. I'm not Japanese, and I'm not trying to be nationalistic. Oh, Japan can teach someone. No, it's not the kind of dialectic. It's not a matter of position. But when I went to Amsterdam to actually study, to learn from their, how they plan, how they do their circular economy, the key question they asked was, so what is Japan doing? So in a sense, it's not about who is doing faster, who is doing better, but it's about sharing ideas. What are you doing right now that I can learn from? What kind of problems are you facing that I can help with? And that's the mindset of the good people who are promoting circular economy in at the time was Amsterdam. So that's a wonderful mindset, and was an eye opener for me. Yeah, I need to find this to share with the world, and yeah, that's one of the driving points of Zenbird and now Zenwaves. So long story short, yeah, Zenwaves really want to start talking about circular economy in Japan. So one of the things we want to do is start introducing more examples in Japan. Why are these not just eco-friendly businesses? They are part of a circular economy. They have a system. They realize that we can cut out the waste. We can stop taking from nature, and we can keep that spiral. We can make and reuse and reuse and reuse and reuse. And we have our partner medias, which has seen a lot of good things, and Zenbird really wants to bring that out too. And now we are on Zenwaves. Very soon we'll have a collaboration, and we can actually introduce all these good things that these good people are doing. And the other thing, of course, Zenbird wants to do is promote a circular economy. Why was circular economy so what powerful? That's what we like to explore too. Yeah. So why, for Zenbird, for Zenwaves, circular economy is a very important concept for us. Why? Because there's a lot of people right now. In economic sense, people are asking, does a circular economy really work? And without a doubt, for me, for Zenbird, yes, of course, we have seen succeed 400 years ago in Edo, Japan, during the Edo period, and that's why we have a circular economy. Now, I'm not trying to say that we should be going back, back to cows and horses. Let's forget about bullet speed trains and forget about bullet trains and forget about internet, forget about smartphones. No, that's not what we are trying to say. Instead, we should learn from Edo Japan what worked, and can we use technology to make that so much more efficient. So one of the things that's key in Edo circular economy was repair, the concept of repair. Now we only recently just started, especially in Europe, what is our right? How do we implement the right to repair? How do we tell Apple, hey, let us repair our own phones instead of just buying a new one? And in ancient Japan, that is just normal. They have businesses like they rent out pots and pans or bed sheets. If they are broken, you can pay someone to repair. You can rent bedding if you're not gonna buy, if you cannot make. Yeah, and they made a business out of it. It is a sustainable business. So, for example, pots and pans. You have someone who's out there going around, the hammer and solder to fix the hole in the pots. Now we have technology, we can make that faster, we can make it easier, and we should do that. So we are talking about implementing the ancient idea of repairing is alright, we can share. Plus, it's a lot more efficient to do it now. So we are looking at both resilience and efficiency as one package. And circular economy, I wouldn't call. For me, Shinto is the belief that almost every matter has its own life. And I believe that Shinto really derives from believing that nature is sacred. Water, the sun, the mountain, the forest, and they have a reverence for nature. Nature can't, nature gives, nature takes away. Thanks to nature, you have a balance. For you get food from balance. You get food from the sun. You get gifts of nature from the forest. But there are also natural disasters, and it is something to be feared of. Well, we'll talk about this relationship with nature, especially the forestry is one of the easiest to understand, but we'll cover this in the future. So they actually start from, they prioritize nature. You know, they have a realization that we do not control nature. This is not our land that we own, and we deserve everything, to use everything on it. Artisans knows this the best. If I take too much resources and they are not able to renew in time, I'm gonna lose my livelihood. So they understand that they are part of nature, and that's a key concept that we need to start learning. And thanks to the climate crisis, I think a lot of us are beginning to realize that. And I believe that circular economy is the answer to a lot of problems. Well, of course, only developed nations can say that. I mean, developing nations are, trying to develop, but and that's why circular economy is important for developed countries too, because this is a system that we do not have negative impact on other countries, and we might just be able to have the capacity to help our developing neighbors to reach the kind of prosperity that we have. And the interesting thing is, circular economy, well, it was praised as the solution in Europe, say maybe in the 2010s, 2012. But 400 years ago, they realized that circular economy is the way to do it. We're looking at two different timelines, two different types of economy who arrive at the same solution, which is circular economy. And beyond circular economy, we have a concept even called the donut economy, and we find signs of donut economy in other countries too. And yeah, circular economy is the most natural answer that people have come upon. Even if we use logic, yes, we are running out of resources, we should do something, and the answer they arrive to, circular economy. And that's why we want to promote circular economy. And one of the things that Zenbird wants to do is not be too difficult when we explain concepts. That's one of the key problems that we had with climate change. Scientists love to throw out all this data. We've been telling you for decades, they say. Now, yes, you have been telling us, but unfortunately, you didn't have the marketers who can help you simplify things so that even the layman can understand. And Zenbird wants to avoid that. I mean, climate change is, okay, maybe you get some sense. How are we going to understand circular economy just from the two words, circular economy? It's not intuitive. And that's something we want to avoid. We don't want to explain it too tough. If you look on the net, if you look at YouTube videos, you can have, if you search circular economy, they're gonna be talking in big words, really. And unless you are in business or you are working at the government level, there's a lot of concepts that you might not be able to use. You might not be useful for you. It's hard to understand, but it's important for you to know. And the way we see is to participate in the circular economy, to be a responsible consumer. All you have to do is ask yourself two questions, right? When I think of buying, for example, a tumbler, do I know where it comes from? And do I know where it goes after I use it? So two questions. Do I know where it comes from? And where does it go after we use it? Where does it come from? Who made the tumbler? Was everyone fairly paid What kind of materials is it using? Does the company have a sustainable policy? Is the company transparent in what it's doing? Does the company pay its people properly? Does the company profit off by paying the producers of the materials too little? You'll be surprised how many companies are not paying them well, and that's why in the future we'll talk about this, which is fair trade, very important keyword, and so on and so forth. So that's the first part of the question. The second part of the question, so the second question, that was the first question. Second question is, do we know how to dispose of it after we use? So let's say the tumbler gets broken. Do we know how to break it down into parts to actually recycle them properly? Are there any composite parts? Is the rubber detachable? Is the inner lining of the flask some special composite metal that we need to let the recycler know? Do we have a proper system to actually dispose of metals, of rubber, combustibles, non-combustibles? What will the recycling company do with it after that? What are the costs of disposing it properly? There's a lot of parts. So two questions are, where does it come from? Where does it go after? If we are not able to answer these two questions properly, then you probably don't want to buy it. Or if you see there's a negative answer, okay, this company isn't that good yet. It doesn't mean it's a bad company, but it's not yet sustainable, and you probably want to look for alternatives, and there are plenty of alternatives out there. And with technology, now we have technology, we can just order online. Of course, well, there's carbon emissions, but if you are able to buy something that can reuse for a very long time, that's great. And by asking these two questions, you might realize, hey, in the end, I don't really need this. I want it, but I don't really need it. So that's where the power of reuse comes in. Something broken, then you can ask yourself, that's part of the question, right? When does it go after it's broken? Can I repair it? I can. Okay, that's good. Can I return it to someone who can upcycle it? Upcycling means taking up something broken and create something else with more value than it has as the waste. If you can, then you know where it's going, and that's called responsible consumption. And by just asking these two questions, you are participating in a circular economy. Now, the one thing I always tell people is businesses are actually scared of us. Can you imagine telling Coca-Cola tomorrow, sorry, we're gonna ban plastic bottles? What are they gonna do? They'll panic. They spend money to make sure they are still able to make plastic bottles. Can you imagine telling McDonald's no more beef? Beef produces a lot of methane gas, and they're gonna be very unhappy about it, and they are scared of it. So if there's enough people going vegan, if there's enough people protesting against Coca-Cola, Coca-Cola is not a bad company, just to say, but they have links to fossil fuel. That's a very complex issue. So if there's enough people, it will make the business panic, and that's why they are so eager to say, oh, we are SDGs, we are sustainable. They make sure they have a page dedicated to that. But whether they really are, that's where we have to be the cynics. Really? I'm just seeing an orgy of SDGs icons. Are you really sustainable? And just now I talked about small companies who are able to make that flexible changes. They are able to change their business models. Yeah, and we can from experience as someone who goes around Japan to interview people, yeah, small businesses are able to make that switch overnight. Really. Okay, maybe takes maybe within the week, because some of them may have a lot of stuff and they need to get together. Let's get everyone on a page. Let's have a meeting and they discuss. And usually, it is the youths who will say, "Yes, let's do it." The older folks, maybe the Gen X, okay, let's push back. Let's hold it back. Are we going too fast? Sure, they may have doubts at first, but at the end of the day, everyone gets together. For example, right now I'm streaming from Kyoto, and maybe about 10 minutes, there's a veg out cafe. Yeah. So what they started is they have about 10 staff, and veg out is vegan. Oh, that's wonderful. Oh, by the way, their food is fantastic. A little expensive, but I'm telling you, you have full satisfaction, and you know that the nutrition's out there. Anyway, when they got together, the owner really wanted to adopt. We want to make our cafe zero waste. And what he realized was, out of the 10 staff, not everyone had a different understanding of environmental issues. Of course, all of them love vegan. Going vegan is good, but some of them might not know, what actually are the effects, and do we really need to go zero waste? In Japan, it is normal to offer them, tissue, offer them disposable straws. Some offer disposable chopsticks. And to go zero waste means we got to stop them. Are you sure it's good? Are you sure, our customers are not going to complain about it? So what the owner did was, okay, let's close the cafe and take a trip. Let us take a trip to zero waste town Kamikatsu, which is in Tokushima. So everyone learns about what waste is and how Kamikatsu divides their waste into 47 categories, and everyone got on the same page together. And now they are zero waste. Yeah, whatever food waste they compose, they stop giving these extra services. And the best thing is the customers start realizing, hey, no, they used to provide straws, they used to provide napkins, and and that's where the conversation starts. Veg Out didn't start out as, hey, you are my customers, you should go zero waste too. Customers realized there was a change, and they start asking about it, and that's where Veg Out, the vegan restaurant, started to become the starting point for other people to learn about zero waste, about having minimal impact on their environment. Veg Out is it's really a role model that people can look up to, especially in Japan, where we need more role models like that. To be honest, the story was so long I can't remember my original point. Anyway, yeah. And talking about the Veg Out, the vegan restaurant story, I think that's where the change can happen. First, we have SMEs. More than 99% of businesses in Japan are SMEs. So if we can have SMEs who are flexible, make that change overnight or within the week, imagine the kind of impact we can have. And they become new influencers for customers to learn about environmental, eco-friendly methods, eco-friendly consumption, ethical using of stuff, buying of stuff. And of course, Zenbird wants to report all this. So I think there's a lot of content that Zenwaves can create from here out. And again, if you are interested, please follow us so that you don't miss out the little wisdom nuggets that you can actually use in your daily lives. They are also very interesting because it gives you a look into what Japan used to do for being such a carbon neutral society and zero waste society. Fantastic. I'll give you a preview. For example, for Japan, they had their own kind of plastic in Edo period. Of course, plastics wasn't invented just yet, but they had something that functions like plastic in the modern day, in our modern day, which is bamboo. Bamboo can be used for food. Bamboo can be used for tools. A lot of tools. Just think of handle. You just sharpen. Can be used for weaponry. Can be used for for architecture. If you go down to Arashiyama in Kyoto, there's the bamboo forest. You can still see fences that are built with the bamboos. I mean, it makes sense. Yeah. Did I say musical instruments? There's a lot of use for bamboo. And are we worried about losing plastic? No, we're not, because in Japan there's a lot of bamboo. There's a lot of potential for bamboos. Bamboos can be grown in 1 or 2 months. They grow really fast. So we have a renewable resource to replace plastic. Because we can't replace plastic in all aspects, but a lot of things we can already use bamboo for example, maybe a bento box, or we can use it as wraps for food. That's the kind of content that Zenbird want to do in the future. And yeah, right now I'm doing a planning. So one of the collaborations that we have right now is with Circular Yokohama. So what Circular Yokohama does is it promotes the circular business, a circular design for businesses in Yokohama itself. Where is Yokohama? Is actually south of Kyoto, about maybe 30 minutes train ride from Kyoto, from Tokyo. And we see a lot of unique ideas. Some might not have continued, but there's a steady. There are businesses that have found themselves to be sustainable, and we want to introduce them. They have not just created sustainable products, but the system, the business models themselves are sustainable, and that is something we want to introduce. I've invited one of the members of Circular Yokohama to share with us, their favorite circular businesses. Sorry, yes, that's the better one. Circular businesses. Not only one, they will serve as business models to other businesses. I mean, a lot of businesses are thinking, I want to be sustainable. I want to promote the SDGs, but I'm not too sure what I can do. And that is one of the problems we have right now, because they don't know what they can do. They just they have a surface understanding of SDGs, and they start promoting themselves. Yeah, we are SDGs. I don't really know what you mean by you are SDGs, but maybe your sustainability is not the sustainability that we are thinking about. And that is one of the reasons why role models are so important. Yeah, I remember. Yeah, in Yokohama we have this business called High Shop. High Shop is actually a word. High means dispose. so shop. So the idea is you be aware of the thing that you use, and they are actually trying to be zero waste, and they actually sell how to say souvenirs that are sustainable. One of the problems with the omiyage culture, the souvenir culture in Japan, is there's too much packaging in a packaging, and the high shop realized that issue. It's kind of ridiculous, but it is part of an old Japanese idea that you have to prepare everything for the consumers. Now consumers are more environmentally conscious, and then they are realizing, okay, we don't need 3 plastic bags just for this bar of chocolate. So anyway, High Shop is promoting Japanese souvenirs that are sustainable, and they even have a cafe that is vegan. Wonderful. I haven't had the chance. I would really want to go because they even have a vegan ramen. It's a creation of the students in Yokohama. So yeah, someday I'm gonna eat that. And yeah, High Shop is one of those businesses that we want to feature on Zenwaves. In fact, there's a lot of good stuff coming from Japan. Well, right now Zenbird is a small team. Zenwaves is a small team. So I can see our issue. Our issue is we are not gonna be able to do as much videos as we want. If we can, we would like to do it every day. I'm working on the workflow. Let's see if we can do that really. Yeah, if we can produce content every day. Yeah, that is the way. But seriously, we don't earn money in that sense. So yeah, we can't really afford to put all our resources into developing Zenwaves. No, and that's why it will be a lot easier if you can follow us on maybe Instagram. We share snippets of the news, more like summarized versions of the news, so that you can stay. And if you like video content, yes, please subscribe to our channel. We are a really new channel, and we really need every single help that we can get. Thank you. Hi there. Circular economy is something that we really want to push in the future. And yeah, so probably we are thinking of 2 series. The first series will be Circular Yokohama, all the good stuff that's coming out of Yokohama, and 2, maybe the educational line. Yeah, what can we learn from Edo, Japan? It was a closed country, and we're talking about one of the unique things about being a closed country is, yes, we have limited resources, but we are not surviving on just pieces of bread. Or we are surviving. Tomorrow, what if we got no food tomorrow? No, they were contented with life, and it was during the 200 years where Japan was closed that they developed, the way of the tea. You got sado. They developed a culture for calligraphy, for dancing. They even had chado, which is something like sado. So there's a variation. And ikebana, flower arrangement. Culture flourished. The country was closed. It had limited resources, and yet it was content. But what happened? Okay, I think we can talk about this, which is almost every Japanese that I interviewed or had the chance to speak to, asked them, Japan, Edo Period Japan was, it was such a circular society. It created no waste. It was very good at taking care of nature. where did it go wrong? And some had an immediate reply. Some just say, okay, I'm not too sure if I want to say this. But the answer is the moment Japan opened its borders. When Japan opens its borders, everybody wanted a piece of Japan. Oh, there's this exotic country that finally opened its doors. Imagine Disneyland being closed for 20 years, not letting anyone in, suddenly open. Willy Wonka's chocolate factory. It is something like that. So Japan was the factory, and everybody wanted a piece of it. And they brought in their food, their technology. But probably the worst thing they brought in was Western culture. Now, Western culture at that time was it developed differently, and it developed in the man is the center of the universe. So if I have to compare, in Western philosophy, it's like, okay, I am the owner of this land. All those trees, all those rivers belong to me. I have the right to use up everything as I see fit. But for the Eastern philosophy, especially in Japan, people were thinking, I am part of nature. I cannot damage nature because it would damage me. I am part of the system and I shouldn't be damaging the system. And that's what Japan faced when all this foreign philosophy started to pour into Japan. And they had a war, really. If you watch The Last Samurai, the movie by Tom Cruise, it's historically incorrect, but the war between the old and the new is true. So you have the Japan that wants to modernize itself, to lift itself, to lift the country to be partners with the rest of the world. Then you have the spirit, the old spirit of Japan, the samurais who are thinking, we are developing too fast, and you are sacrificing things that is important for Japan, and for example, nature. So there is this war between Japanese values and efficiency, really. Not at the time, it's not Western philosophy. And what are we talking about? Efficiency. We're talking about electricity. We're talking about railroads. Railroads means trade, which means money. And at that time, Edo Period is a very mercantile kind of society. In a way, it's capitalistic, but the opening of the country kind of gave Japan the permission to go full capitalist. So that was the point where Japan wanted more and more and more. And we know what happened after that. We are the best in Asia. Let's start the war. And that's where we had the Pacific War. They attacked Korea, they attacked China, they attacked Southeast Asia, and all because they lost their sense of what being Japanese really is. They have forgotten themselves, and they think that they are the best, which is really disappointing. I'm not going to go through the war. It's a very nuanced problem because of the damage Japan has caused to Asia, and of course the Pearl Harbor. But we are seeing, what I'm seeing right now is Japan is coming to a full circle. And what I mean by that is, right now we have the pandemic, right? And now Japan is a closed country again. So from the point of opening its country back to its close, during that time, Japan has been trying to prove itself. Yes, we want to be part of the world. We want to progress. we want to say that we are one of the best countries too. And now the country is closed again. Everyone is slowed down and thinking, you know, we shouldn't be depending on others. We've been copying other people for such a long time, and now they are rediscovering their roots. People are, well, they can't go overseas, so they go back to their hometown, and they are reconnecting with the rural areas. They are reconnecting with nature, and I think they are realizing, hey, this is our roots. We have our own style of doing things, and you know, the capitalist way is not going to be useful for us. Now, not everyone thinks that way, of course. It's right at this point. It's really at the start of it, which means only a few, I'd say maybe 10% of people have started to realize, hey, you know, there's more to work than just going to office, squeezing on the train every 6 a.m., 7 a.m., 8 a.m. Well, what was the point of squeezing on the train for that when we can do work offline? You know, the role that we have is because, oh, I'm a marketer, I have to do this. They're going back to their hometowns and realize, hey, the shrine needs cleaning. Let me do it. You don't have to pay me. I'll do it. Oh, you need to care for your plant, for your, let's say, rice paddies. Okay, I can do it. I mean, I just have to get these tools, and I'll help my neighbors. And they're doing it willingly. It's not like you have to pay them. So they are rediscovering their purpose in life as a human being. So human being is not trying to earn money, get better life, but to be satisfied. Now, life is not 100% convenient in the rural areas. You don't have convenience like, you know, you just walk 1 minute and you have a convenience store or a dispenser machine. You know, I've been to those really rural areas. At first I was scared, you know, there are no convenience store, there are no supermarkets. Can I survive? By the third day I realized, hey, it's really just luxury stuff. I don't need a convenience store. You know, what's the point of technology? That's what I'm going to say. Why do we have why do we have, for example, dispenser machines? It's supposed to facilitate, to put in areas where there's no one there, and still be able to provide a service for people who are thirsty. And we are putting it in cities where just around the corner there is a convenience store, someone is selling a drink. So we are over depending on convenience, and we have gotten why we want to use convenience. Now, Japan is facing, of course, a declining population. So maybe, yeah, you can use it as a replacement for manpower. But you don't need to put one dispensing machine here when there's 2 convenience stores to the right, you can see them, and another 2 dispensers right over to your left. And that's the kind of cities that you can see in Tokyo. I mean, in Kyoto, and you can see that also. Kyoto is a city that is proud of its roots too, but we are seeing so many parking lots because people want to park. We are seeing a lot of dispenser machines that you don't really need to have, and that is one of the issues that people are starting to realize. Do we really need this? It's not normal, is it? And that's the word normal. A lot of people are starting to question, is this normal? They're starting to question what used to be normal. Like, going to office. Do we really need to go office? I mean, if you work face to face, like in a convenience store, yeah, of course, you probably need to go to work face to face. But right now, we are in it's a technological. There's a lot of technological businesses that you can do meetings on Zoom. So yeah, a lot more people are asking about what am I doing? What have I been squeezing onto the train for the past 7 years for at 7 a.m.? What is the stress that I have felt every morning for 7 years? What was it for? Now, the way I see this, two things can happen. Once coronavirus is so-called over, once our panic is over, people start a revolution. We're talking about revolution in lifestyle, revolution in work. They start prioritizing nature. They start prioritizing social good, so that there's less suffering homeless, suffering child who are hungry, less domestic violence, less sexual violence, more gender equality, and promote LGBT rights. All the other way is everyone wants to go back to the not normal, so nothing changes, and I'm really scared that will happen, because that has happened before. For example, during the Olympics, we had the ex-chairman said really rude things about women. If you gather a list of the rude things that he has said about women, you know he is a sexist. And when he said something really rude, at one of the Olympic council meetings, he said something that I think we shouldn't let women talk because they take a lot of time. Now it seems harmless, there's no vulgarity or anything, but it's very clear that what kind of stand he had of women. Now it gathered international attention. 1 year after that, right now, today, it hasn't changed much for gender equality. So even though there was this exposure, Japan is like that, not much change has happened since then, and that's what I'm really scared about. The best we can do, and I guess that's one of the things that Zenbird wants to do. Whichever ways it goes, we want to record it down. This is what Japan chose. Was it good or bad? Well, we look at the pros and cons, but anything that's below natural, and what I mean by natural is rights for all, where everyone is equal, where no one is suffering, no one is facing racism, no one is facing discrimination. That will be normal. And today, Japan cannot be normal. It's not normal. And I think that's a sin of humankind, not just the Japanese, that we have so much problems that we are so desperate to identify that we are different from each other, just because we are an identity, that we forget what's important, to treat other people with decency. So yeah, I strayed so far, and yeah, at this point, yeah, Zenwaves, the channel, really wants to do those things. Yeah, we want to introduce more circular ideas that people can look to mimic, maybe, or even just consumers like us, to know more that there are sustainable brands that we can actually use to buy from, and these are the businesses that we should support. And to education, really, to know more about Japan, all this, like what I shared on what the issues that Japan have, and what are the potential changes that can make Japan that much better. Okay, I think I'm gonna end the stream here. At 8 p.m. this is a flower demo online forum. Flower demo really it's a short form for flower demonstration. It's the organizers are trying to raise awareness of sexual violence in Japan, and their consistency, the work they have done is really wonderful. There has been some law changes that actually improve the lives of women in Japan. And of course, Japan is still not perfect, and there's a lot of things that how to say, in a way, belittle women. Well, Japan still has a lot of work to do when we look at Japan on the gender gap index that says Japan is really at the among all the countries in the world at the lower rank, even though it's considered to be a developed country. So yeah, that's their online session at 8 p.m. I'm gonna have a little break before I join them as a listener. So yeah, thank you for listening, whoever is online. Thank you for sticking around and listen to all this ranting. In a way, it's a rant because there's so much work to do, but it's also, I hope you also heard how hopeful I am about what Japan can share with the world, because I think the philosophy in fact is the biggest thing that Japan can teach the world, and something that we can actually apply in our everyday lives as an individual, like Motai 9, which is the dislike of waste, or wabi sabi. We don't need to have it perfect. Maybe to appreciate what is 70% perfect or 80% perfect. And these are the ideas and concepts that I hope to share with everyone in the future. And yeah, so if you're interested in knowing more, yes, please visit our online magazine. Follow us on Instagram or Facebook. I'll definitely put the links in the description. Or the best way is to subscribe, because we do this weekly live where the first part of every live stream it will go through the news, so it's really like a digest version of it. And yeah, so alright, this is where I go off. And as for you, our listeners, thank you so much for joining us today. There's a lot more work to be done for society and for the environment, but I hope you have stay relaxed for this weekend. And if you are fighting injustices anywhere in the world, or you're fighting for our environment, remember to recharge, definitely. Then find the renewed energy to go back for a worthy fight next week. So take care, and I'll see you when I see you, which is next week. Ciao.